I've been playing World of Warcraft for over a decade, and I've leveled up every class more than once. And I've never read the quest text, so I have no idea what my own characters have been through. So I've decided to play through every single zone and read every quest. And then I'm going to do my best to share what I've learned with you, just in case you've missed out on the story too. So be warned, this video is going to contain some spoilers. My name is TheKephas, and this is a hero's journey in Warcraft.
Given the recent political upheaval in Ironforge, the gnomes have suddenly found themselves unwelcomed guests within the city. Leveraging their ingenious technologies and unquenchable spirit for adventure, the gnomes have begun to reevaluate their role within Cosmodan. Under the inventive leadership of High Tinker Gelbin Mekatork, the gnomes now plan a daring campaign against the barbarous Trogs to retake their former capital of Gnomeregan. With the odds stacked against them, the gnomes are counting on brave heroes such as you to stand and be counted. Your people's greatest hour draws near.
Gnomes might often find themselves at the butt of a joke, but their history is no such thing. Some time ago, the gnomes built for themselves a vast automated city which they called Gnomeregan. And under the leadership of their High Tinker, Gelbin Mekatork, the gnomes continued to advance technology not only for themselves, but for their allies. But in the blink of an eye, all was lost, as a vicious army of savage trolls rose up and invaded Gnomeregan. In a desperate attempt to eradicate the Trogs, Mekatork, on the advice of his close friend, Sicko Thermoplug, detonated a radiation bomb within the city. But unbeknownst to Mekatork, Thermoplug was the one behind the whole thing, instigating the Trog invasion in a desperate power play to obtain glory for himself. But the plan backfired. The radiation only succeeded in empowering the Trogs, and nearly 80% of the gnome population was wiped out. The gnomes were driven from their beloved city and forced to seek refuge, but Sicko, having been driven mad by the radiation, stayed and declared himself as the new ruler of Gnomeregan. For a time, the surviving gnomes lived among their dwarven cousins in Ironforge, but the political climate there would soon change. Not wanting to overstay their welcome, the gnomes sought to fulfill their deepest wish, retaking Gnomeregan. High Tinker Mekatork launched Operation Gnomeregan, calling upon heroes to assist in the city's recapture. The operation was mostly a success, as the Alliance managed to reclaim Gnomeregan's surface and part of the city, an area which is now known as New Tinkertown. But Thermoplug was still inside the city, and just as it seemed the gnomes were about to claim victory, he launched a second radiation bomb, one even more powerful than the first. And once again, the gnomes were forced to retreat. You wake up somewhere inside Gnomeregan. Injured gnomes are all around you, receiving medical treatment. But for some, it's too late. You've been exposed to high levels of radiation, but unlike many of the others, you are still able to function, both in mind and in body. The Survivor Assistance Facilitation Expedition, better known as SAFE, led by Commander Nevin Twistwrench, have come to rescue any survivors they can find, including yourself. But the halls of Gnomeregan are crawling with infected leper gnomes, and they're attacking the SAFE operatives. Since you're still in good enough condition to fight, you assist the rescuers and clear the area of leper gnomes. With the area cleared temporarily, the rescue team is able to advance to the next room. But while you and the members of SAFE are still able to defend yourselves, the other survivors are far too injured to make it out alive. So you have no choice but to use the remaining power in Carvo Blastbolt's teleportation beacon to send the other survivors to a safer area. If you continue on in your irradiated state much longer, things are going to get a lot worse for you. So you are sent to the safe zone to be put through the Sanitron 500 to be decontaminated. Don't worry, it doesn't hurt much. Cleansed of radiation and properly equipped, you are sent to the surface to begin your new life. Your assistance with the safe rescue mission has earned the respect of Commander Nevin, and your story has been told all throughout New Tinkertown. You introduce yourself to High Tinker Mekatork, who briefs you on recent events.
We assembled a mighty force and defeated Thermoplug's servants, fighting our way into the city. But the usurper Thermoplug had one last trick up his sleeve. It's too quiet. Where are Thermoplug's defense forces?
No! I won't allow you into my kingdom, usurper! I won't allow it! Activate the ultimate atomic protection system! Disintegrate them all!
It's a trap! That's a fully functional irradiator!
Irradiator 3000 activated. Attention, emergency. You now have 10 minutes to reach minimum safe distance.
10 minutes? Plenty of time to disarm the device. Hinkles, hand me that whirring bronze gizmo and some fresh spring water. Cogspin, toss me that dirty trog cloth and a handful of copper bolts.
10 minutes? You left the factory setting on? Give me that controller, you idiot!
Attention, emergency. You now have 10 seconds.
We've got to get out of here!
minimum safe
Lapforge,
distance.
beam us back, quickly! Oh, we were forced to retreat. Thermoplug continues to hide behind the radiation, sending his crony Crushcog to harass us here on the surface.
Crushcog will not be easy to defeat, and you're going to need all the soldiers and weaponry you can muster. Engineer Grindspark has been tasked to develop a new line of multibots to clean up the nearby toxic airfield. Tons of robot parts can be found all over New Tinkertown, left over from Operation Nomergon, so you gather them up and deliver them to him. Grindspark is able to convert the parts into a multi-bot prototype, which should be able to clean up the toxic airfield before the contamination spreads, and he needs you to take it on a field test. At the airfield, you discover that the toxic waste has contaminated some water elementals in the area, and they've become hostile. So you clear the area of contaminated elementals while Grindspark's bot cleans up the toxic waste. But during this process, you notice that there are puddles of toxic sludge roaming around. And looking closely, you discover various kinds of gnome possessions floating in the sludge. Tox Sprite had theorized that if a gnome is irradiated for too long, they eventually will devolve into toxic sludge. And you seem to have proven that his theory is true. But hope is not lost, as Tok believes that with these possessions in hand, he might be able to restore the gnomes back to life. And inexplicably, he does. He actually manages to bring one back to life. But unfortunately, it's not a very long life. With Grindspark's field test a success, the bots can get to cleaning up the airfield, and you can turn your attention elsewhere. The Cataclysm managed to tear open deep caves below Frostbane Hold, causing a horde of trogs to flood out and run off the trolls that inhabited the area. If something isn't done soon, the gnomes will experience a similar fate. A demolitionist named Jessup McCree was hired to close up the caves, but no one has heard from him in a while, so you go to check on him near Frostbane Hold. Jessup's fine, but his team and equipment aren't. Those dastardly trogs have kidnapped the demolition crew and stolen the kegs of gunpowder needed to blow up the caves. And since Jessup's not much of a fighter, it's up to you to secure the gunpowder and rescue the crewmen. Upon doing so, you head into the cave and deal with the trogs while the crewmen set up the explosives at the opening. So you blow it up, and with the flow of trogs cut off, you set your sights on their leader, Boss Brugger, and take him out. With the hole closed off, and the remaining trogs leaderless, they shouldn't be much of a threat anymore. So you report the good news to Mechatork. Preparations have finally been made to bring down Crushcog, but he's not alone. Thermoplug has also sent a force of irradiated gnomes, who have taken over an old arsenal base. Crushcog's technicians are attempting to repair the weaponry there, and if they get their hands on those weapons, they're going to be an even greater threat. So they need to be stopped immediately. So you assault the base alone, taking out as many irradiated gnomes and technicians as you can find, while blowing up the repaired mechanotanks. You've managed to ruin Crushcog's plans of weaponizing the mechanotanks. All that remains is dealing with Crushcog himself. Ironforge has granted a request for reinforcements, and has sent a fleet of mountaineers to rendezvous at Brunel Village. The Nomergon covert ops have pinpointed Crushcog's location on an island in the middle of the frozen ice flow lake. Mechatork is ready to lead the assault team to take on Crushcog, but the villainous lieutenant has deployed sentry bots all over the lake that will detect any potential attackers. But using a device called the Paintinator, you spray the optical lenses of the sentry bots with black paint, rendering them useless. With the sentry bots out of the way, you've created the opening needed for Mechatork to lead the assault team and take the fight the Crushcog.
Mechgineer Thermoplug refuses to acknowledge that his defeat is imminent. He has sent Razlo Crushcog to prevent us from rebuilding our beloved Nomergon. But our brave friend here has thwarted his plans at every turn, and now the dwarves of Ironforge stand with us. Let's send him crawling back to his master in defeat.
You! How did you escape detection by my sentry bot? No matter. My guardians and I will make short work of you. To arms, men!
Mechatork and Crushcog pair off, while you fend off the supporting Mechanomes. Using an orbital targeting device, you direct the High Tinker special weapons against Crushcog, and after a long, arduous battle, Crushcog falls to the combined might of the assault team. His mechanotank explodes in a heap, leaving his lifeless body to fall to the ground.
With Crushcog defeated, Thermoplug is sure to be quaking in his mechanotank, and rightly so. You're next, Thermoplug. You're next!
With the defeat of Crushcog, Thermoplug will not be able to send more soldiers to the surface. New Tinkertown is safe, and the gnomes are one step closer to retaking all of Nomergon.
Razlo Crushcog is no more! The people of Ironforge and Nomergon speak with one voice this day! Hear us well, Thermoplug! The day of your defeat approaches!
But Thermoplug is not one who should be underestimated, and a proper assault will require more planning. In the meantime, the Mountaineers have given word that the trolls who were driven out of Frostmane Hold have moved east, and are threatening the dwarven town of Karanos. Dwarves and gnomes will always look out for each other, and just as the Mountaineers assisted in the defeat of Crushcog, you head east, and make your way to Karanos to assist the dwarves in keeping their village safe. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. You can also subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter at TheKephas to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, this is Kephas, until next time.